Ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy Nick Swisher filling in for Rich Eisen on the Rich Eisen Show. Stoked to be here. I'm with my man Mardy Fish. Happy to have you here, my man.
Thanks for having me.
Everything's good, bro? You're doing all right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, so we were actually talking, and we actually need to ask you this. We need to know exactly what a U.S. Davis Cup captain does, right? You replace Courier,
Yep.
right? And just on the outside looking in, bro, like what an honor to be able to do something like that.
It's a huge honor. It's a dream job, no doubt about it. And as far as tennis goes, as far as retired American tennis player, that's kind of the gig that I wanted. Ever since I played Davis Cup, which is our team event, really our only team event in tennis. Tennis is an incredibly individual sport.
Right.
Maybe the most individualistic sport in the world, at least
no
of
coaches,
the major
no nothing.
sports. I mean, when you leave the locker room, we're all by ourselves trying to figure it out. So Davis Cup is the team part of that, and maybe some of the most fun memories on the tennis court in Davis Cup, playing for the U.S., hearing the national anthem before you play, stuff like that. Anyways, while I was playing, I always thought it was awesome to be a Davis Cup captain. It would be so cool
Be the best.
eventually. Just sort of run the shots. You pick the team. You put the guys together. You sort of mesh personalities together. Right now we have an interesting mix of personalities where we've got some older guys in John Isner and Sam Querrey and Jack Sock and some of the guys that have been around for a while. And then we've got some younger players as well that are coming up in a couple,
Kind of
probably
like Ryder Cup style in
three
a sense?
guys. Yeah, a little bit. I mean, there's only 5 guys on the team. But yeah, I mean, and there's only... we've got 3 young Americans that are 21 and under that are ranked in the top 60 in the world. So trying to kind of, that's 2 complete,
of course,
different generations, trying to put them together and stuff. So it's a lot of fun. And then you put together the physios and the stringers and the doctors where we stay, all that stuff. So it's and then you do a lot of other stuff as well. You try to promote the game, try to grow the game as much as you can within the USTA and stuff. So it's not just competition, but it's a fun and it's a heck of a role for sure.
Wow, Nick Swisher filling in for Rich Eisen on the Rich Eisen Show, sitting here talking to my homie Mardy Fish.
Is that the only tennis talk that we've had so far?
No. So far,
probably in the history of the show.
We never had a Davis Cup captain on here neither, have we?
That's true, we haven't.
That's what I thought.
True.
So to be able to think, I'm thinking only as a retired guy, right? And I retired, 3 years ago now.
Yeah.
And when you retire, there's such a huge hole in your heart, right?
Yeah.
There's just something you were so used to doing each and every day. Your routines are different, right? Yeah. You're married, you've got kids, right? We've got to wake up in the morning. Now we make breakfast and the whole nine. But for you to be able to come back in and be part of tennis the way you are now, on the U.S. national level, I mean, that's got to feel amazing because it brings you back in.
It's tough, right? I mean, it's 3 years for me as well, almost 4 years now for me. Nothing is ever going to motivate you the way getting out of bed and playing that day is for us. And that's what people, don't really understand as athletes, how they struggle when they retire. It's not right away. Right away, it was actually nice. You could
kind of get a little break.
Yeah,
you
do
don't
whatever
have to
you
work out as
wanted.
much.
Yeah, the same thing. I had the same thing, and then you can eat whatever you want and stuff. I was so disciplined with my diet and stuff that I think my first meal after a U.S. Open in 2015 was Five Guys, and I had never even heard of it. And it was unbelievable,
Greece,
dude.
I need it.
It was unbelievable, and so I had 2 burgers and a couple fries, and I hadn't eaten like that in a long time, years.
Yeah, what are we talking about for a daily? What was your average day like when you were playing?
Yeah,
in terms of training and eating.
Yeah, I mean, look, it depended on if it was an off week or during the week. I mean, if it was a tournament week, we got to eat and we had to stay up. You had to maintain your calories.
Of course. Michael Phelps type stuff, bro.
We're burning as many calories as we can't eat as many calories as we burn during a tournament week. Because you're playing and it could be an hour and a half or it could be 4 hours that you're playing, in a Grand Slam or Davis Cup match. So you can't eat what you're burning. So you're just trying to catch up at that point. But when you're training, it's a little different. You can sort of regiment your diet as far as how many hours you're training. Later in your career, you don't practice quite as much. You may do a lot of physical stuff away from the court because you don't need quite as much practice stuff. So it all obviously depends. So
Yep. Well, Nick Swisher sitting here talking to Mardy Fish, and I think of you as, a silver medalist in the Olympics, an all-around good guy, great tennis player. But the thing that I remember you most about now is your golf game. Because how do you get so good at golf playing tennis? That's got to be a country club thing.
I played Country Club Bo Jackson. I played growing up, right? Like, so I played, it was like golf is like learning a language, and tennis really. Like if you learn it at 2 or 3 years old, it's going to be much easier than if you learn it at 20 or 25.
Which is what I'm trying to do, bro, right?
But you're a 4 or 5 in tennis now. I mean, we talked about that. We got to
all hands team at the net, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Nasty
I got to take him to like the local park, throw a hat on, and we can hustle.
Yeah,
some
bro, we're gonna
boys,
hustle
dude.
some fools, bro. At a point setup.
Because he doesn't look like a tennis player. I'll tell you that.
Hey, man, who's this guy, bro?
But I grew up playing golf. It just comes really natural to me, and I love playing. It's just I'm at a point in golf, and it may sound conceited, but I come to a point in golf now where I can't really tee to green, get any better because I never play. I mean, I probably play 30 times a year. And people think I play all the time, and I'm a +2 or a +3, and for not gambling purposes, though. Gambling purposes, I'm like a 0, maybe.
I'm scratch,
But
dude, 0.
yeah, I'm a scratch. No one ever questions a scratch, by the way. If you say you're a scratch, they're just, okay, you're a scratch.
Exactly.
It's a couple strokes here and there. But, so I can't get any better, and then I got to practice to get your short game better, and I don't have time.
I feel like just playing golf.
Golf takes too long,
It's
by the way.
repetition.
You guys were talking about...
Joe is mad when I'm gone. If my round lasts a minute over 4 hours, she's like, where are you?
Yeah.
And I'm like,
well, you
baby,
always
this
get
is
it,
golf.
and people that golf know this, and if they got a wife at home or a girl at home, you get that text message. What hole are you on?
Right.
That what hole are you on? Tell me you've ever put the exact hole that you're on.
Never. I'm like 2 holes ahead of where I'm at.
Never.
It's for sure.
I'm on 13 when I'm done every single time. Hope to God she's not watching this, by the way. So but it takes too long. You guys were talking about baseball and how to. And I love baseball. I'm a huge baseball fan. I'm a huge Twins fan. I watch every Twins game. I probably watch 158 of 162 games.
Yeah.
This year's going to be more than 162,
I was gonna say,
tell you that.
Let's stand down. Let's talk about your Minnesota Twins right now and what they're doing over there. How special is that to see where they've kind of come from as an organization?
Yeah.
Joe Mauer retires, pretty much the heart and soul of the organization.
Oh, yeah.
All of a sudden, you kind of bring over a band of misfits that no one's really heard of that have had decent years. Now, all of a sudden, Rocco Baldelli's taking this team 50 wins already?
And then did Molitor get a bad, the short end of the stick there? Because they had a bunch of young guys like Kepler and Rosario and Sano and Buxton and Polanco and these guys. Polanco's leading the league in batting now. They just needed a year to go through those, and they still won 75 games. It wasn't like they were 55 and whatever.
100%. Well, the Cleveland Indians aren't what they used to be as well.
I think they're kind of a bluff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. And obviously the rest of the division is what it is. So, there's opportunity there, no doubt about it. And they're taking advantage of it. Their pitching is great. Barrios is awesome. Yeah, he's a bona fide ace. But 2 years ago when we played in Yankee Stadium, 2 years ago when we had that, and Irvin Santana, they get up 3-0 and Irvin Santana walks the first 2 guys.
You're like, oh no.
And we didn't have that guy like a Barrios that they could go in there and shut somebody down. I love baseball. I'm super tight with Verlander, Justin as well.
Hall of Famer,
watch
bro.
him. He play, the day game in Yankee Stadium yesterday is fun.
Amazing.
Yeah, every time I look up, he's 7 innings, giving up 1 or 2, 9 strikeouts. And that guy's a joke.
Crazy,
absolute
man.
Joke.
Nick Swisher sitting here talking with Mardy Fish, all around good guy. And bro, let's talk about Verlander for a hot minute.
All right.
Just the fact that guy could continue to keep doing what he's doing year in and year out. He doesn't get hurt. He's productive. I mean, I remember facing that kid as a rookie in 2006.
Yeah.
I mean, he had electric stuff then, but I feel like he's better now.
Yeah, I've had the opportunity over the years to sort of see the best do what they do, not during the season, but kind of in the off season when everyone's taking time off. I spent a lot of time in Tampa at Saddlebrook. We actually lived on the same street. I don't know if you knew this, Brock, but we lived on the same street in Tampa.
Yeah, man, his sister roomed with my wife back in the day.
Yeah, a long time ago. So we have a bit major history. Yeah, same street.
Way back,
we were
bro.
in. His house was a little bigger than mine.
No,
But,
that's just 'cause it's baseball money, bro. That's all.
but you know, so like I trained at Saddlebrook in Tampa, and Jeter would train there,
Yep.
and in the off season only,
Well,
and he would go.
that
Dude,
was
he
back
was
when
there
Avila
at
was killing it.
7:30. He was there. Yeah, he was living in the same place as well, and he was up there at 7:30 every day in the off season. Justin, I spent a lot of time. He's out here in the off season, and I spent a lot of time with him. That dude doesn't miss a day to work out. He'll play golf every day, but it's not until he's done working out, done training, you know. And it's sometimes he lets me. Because again, I played baseball a little bit, and like I love baseball.
He lets you stand in there every now and then?
So we went to UCLA. He was like throwing, you know, his throwing program where he just has to keep his arm going for 10 minutes a day.
Yeah.
And so he let me do it with him a couple times. I honestly thought I was gonna die, dude. He throws so hard, and then he goes to the other side of the outfield.
Foul pole to foul pole.
Yeah,
Long toss.
dude. But it's not like high.
It's like these dudes are shooting balls out like a cannon, dude.
It's
you know?
straight like an arrow, and I'm catching these things, and my arm's flying back like this, and I'm seeing, you know, I mean, I'm seeing 150 mile an hour serve since I was since 2003
Yeah, you're like,
from
this is
Roddick
nothing.
and Isner and these guys. This thing, I was scared when he's like, you know, 40 feet away
It was
throwing.
scarier
He's
playing catch than returning a 150
playing
mile an hour
catch.
serve.
Well, yeah, the ball feels like it hurts, man. I don't know.
It's a lot harder
You guys
for
get hit.
sure.
You guys get hit by a pitch or something. That doesn't. I mean, a tennis ball, you can shrug that off, but a baseball, dude, it feels like it
You don't
hurts.
ever see tennis players getting like full on like squared up with a tennis ball.
I've
they
stepped
don't
in
get
there
that.
too. I've stepped in there too with them. We went and played a golf tournament in Cabo.
Uh-huh.
And I probably shouldn't be saying this, but we played a golf tournament in Tahoe, and Justin and I were partners, and they had a little baseball field down there at El Dorado.
Yeah. How nice is that place?
Oh yeah, it's awesome. And I got in there, and he had a couple cocktails, and he threw the first. I guess it's one of these ones where like they'll pitchers will like kind of do it on purpose, and they'll throw one, and he threw one hard over my head. And he wasn't sober, and I was like, dude. And I stepped right out of there. I'm like, I'm out of here.
Yeah, man.
Didn't even let him do it.
Well, I'm telling you what, man, just the precision of what he does.
Yeah.
Like, it just seems like
Yeah.
his control, he's got it. And
Yeah,
he's
he
still
threw
one
that.
of-
He threw it 6 inches over my head
That's what
on
I'm saying, and he
purpose.
knew exactly where he was going to throw it. Right?
Well, I didn't think so.
I got another question, and I want to take it back to the Davis Cup, only because of myself, you know, being a special advisor to Brian Cashman
Mm-hmm.
and being able to work with like our younger generation of players, right? I feel like it's a little different now coaching younger players than it was when you and I were growing up.
Yeah.
You know, just to be able to have that opportunity to start working with these young kids, how do you go about preparing them for something that they've never done before? Obviously, you've been there and done that.
Yeah.
And I've always said it's a lot easier to listen to somebody who's been there and done that rather than no one who's ever been there at all.
Yeah, I mean, luckily the respect level is there for you. You know, when you get kids, I love helping. If anyone calls, I pick up and we talk tennis. Any of the young Americans, anytime, any day, every one of them knows that. It's trying to, you know, because tennis, there's not a huge life expectancy in tennis, right? So if you go to college, that's, you know, maybe a year or two off your career that you should be getting maybe in the, you know, some of the
Of course, like in the prime.
futures or challenger levels, which is single A and double A, triple A of tennis. So it's trying to speed up that clock, right? Like to try to teach these guys, and you can only take them so far, right? Like too, because you know you can only make them understand how important a physio is when you're traveling.
Of course.
But it costs money.
Yeah.
And they don't get that you got to spend money on yourself to make money, you know, kind of thing. Just don't get that. You just see it going out, not coming in.
Right.
And they don't see the long run. It's realizing that it's longer than, you know, just a yearly sort of thing.
Well, because a young player, it's such a sprint. It's a sprint to get there. But then once you get there, that's when the journey really begins.
Yeah. Yeah. And you got to, understanding your diet, understanding that in tennis is a brutal. And I heard you saying, like, I think, you know, and you're a baseball guy, so you're going to stick up for your sport. I'm a tennis guy, so I'm going to stick up for mine. I think tennis is the hardest sport in the world, and here's why. Because you need to be really good at your craft in every sport. You need to be physically fit mostly in every sport. and I say mostly because golf, you probably.
He's-
And you need to be as mentally tough as all three of those. And in tennis, if you're not good at your craft, you're not going to be any good.
Right,
if you're not physically fit as you are good at your craft, you're not going to make it. And then if you're not as mentally tough, so it's so hard to create that tennis player, to create a top 20 or top 30, even top 50 in the world player. Because outside of the United States, it's a really popular sport.
course,
It's
dude.
soccer.
Yeah.
It's tennis. I mean, in Europe, it's a European-dominated sport right now. So with like Federer and Nadal and Djokovic and Murray and these guys that I played with, so it's a massive sport over there, and Australia. And you go to these places, like you're going over to London, and when are you going, by the way?
On Wednesday, bro.
So like Wimbledon's starting on Monday.
I know. I was gonna say we got Wimbledon coming up. That's
So,
pretty
like-
much Augusta of tennis.
So you'll see in the papers that they'll have some stuff written up on baseball, and that'll be really cool to have, especially those two teams there. But dude, it dominates. Tennis dominates over there for
I
this
can't
time.
wait to just get over there and
It's
just
super
experience
cool.
the overall life,
Yeah.
the vibe, the whole nine.
It's
You know
super
me,
cool.
bro.
Wimbledon's huge over there at this time of the year, and so it's, so my point is, there's a lot of people playing tennis, and to create that player, to create that sort of player where they're top 50 and top 30 and even top 10 in the world, it ain't easy.
Wow. You're the best, bro. Thank you
Dude, thanks
so
for
much for
having me,
coming
man.
on. Ladies and gentlemen, check out my man Mardy Fish on Twitter at Mardy Fish. Once again, Mardy Fish, all around good guy, the best, bro. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thanks for having me,
Let's
dude.
get out there and hustle some fools on that
All right,
on the
I'll
tennis
do it.
court, bro. We can do that for
I'll do it
sure.
anytime.
Ladies and gentlemen, one more time, Mardy Fish, brother. Thank you for coming over.
For more of The Rich Eisen Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV for free on BR Live or download The Rich Eisen Show app.